Anyways, regardless, it's a Sunday morning. It is 11:20. You know what that means? It means it's time for a Sharks and Things podcast.
Specifically 11:20.
It's 11:22 actually. I'm your host Cody.
Matt.
I'm Mitch.
I'm Zach.
He sounds sad now.
He is, because he just realized his noise floor is really loud.
But that's the thing, is there is no noise.
There is noise. You're just not aware of it.
No. What I'm saying is there is literally nothing else making noise be background noise.
Your room is very large and voluminous. Voluminous?
There you go. Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whatever. Doesn't matter.
There is no noise. That's what I'm saying. There literally is no noise other than me breathing.
Well, you need to either breathe more softly or just take a foam pad and just wrap it full 360.
It's transmitting nothing is what's happening.
Yeah. Oh, pardon me. Anyways, it's that time. This is making great content. Ah!
That's louder. That sounds gone.
I now have ringing in my ears.
It's gone. What happened?
Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you do?
I turned the gain down.
God damn it!
So there's 3 knobs on this thing.
Yeah.
And the one I thought I was adjusting apparently is not the one that I was adjusting.
And people wonder why I do my Sunday morning booze samosas today.
Is it because you're a fucking alcoholic?
That's maybe a good quarter of it.
I don't even know at this point.
It's 3/4 of toleration of this group every Sunday morning, and
See what
1/4 Zach.
See, I'm drinking good things.
You're drinking a Slurpee. I'm just sitting here having a blast.
It's actually not a Slurpee. I'm just using a Slurpee cup.
Do you have 7-Elevens out there?
I can practically see one from my apartment.
Oh man, that makes me a little jealous. You know what I can see from my apartment? The snow is gone, so that's good. I can see the forest.
You see hope.
That's my pre-gym. Spelled JYM.
It's your pre-gym. Is it like a? I don't know. Let's
It's
continue
like a
on.
pre-workout thing, kind of.
You getting jacked on Sunday mornings?
Jim Stepani.
Okay,
It's his product.
video games. Let's talk about some video games.
I'm gonna be lifting after this.
Just bring it all back around. You lifting some games? Just gonna lift some Xboxes.
No, getting gains, brah.
Getting gains.
Getting gains.
We're gonna change this from the Sharks and Things podcast to the Let's Do You Even Lift, Bruh?
Dost thou even hoist?
Broseph, dost thou even hoist? Shit, man, I don't even know anymore. Games are happening. I bought Fallout 4 like an idiot.
Like an idiot. We told you to buy it. And now that you've played it, I guarantee you that you're just being like, I want to do nothing but do this now.
It's okay.
I also got Fallout 4.
So let's talk about this. Let's talk about some Fallout 4. I know we talked about that was the podcast last week, but let's talk about some more Fallout 4.
Hey Mitch, now we get to ask the questions they have to answer.
That's fine. I have some problems with that game. It is better. It is a better Fallout game, but it has problems. Inventory management is an absolute nightmare in that game.
Have you tried pressing the transfer button?
Even that is also bad.
Have you tried taking any of your items and putting them over there?
Yeah, no, like the inventory management system is terrible. To be fair, it's always been terrible in all of their games.
If you're a man in the Wasteland, I guarantee your inventory management is going to be terrible. So if anything, it's realistic.
So,
yeah, realistic that I can carry, 47 different guns, a couple rocket launchers, and
just
15 outfits.
Hey, if you have that much strength to carry all that shit, yeah, go for it.
I have allowed myself one cheat in that game. I have put my carrying capacity up to 10,000 because I don't want to fucking deal with the
encumbrance.
I could deal with encumbrance, whatever. I don't want to deal with the inventory. The problem I have is that you end up since their gun naming convention is so wonky, you end up with 10 of the same gun, just a little bit different, so they don't stack. So like to find the gun I actually want, I have to like scroll through 100 guns.
Rename your gun.
But I'm the middle of the wasteland. Like
Rename your gun, Cody.
that's fine. Like I can rename my gun.
Go to
but
someplace in the wasteland, and you can fucking craft a weapons station and rename your gun.
But you can't. You can't just craft anything you want anywhere you are. You have to go to a crafting place, and then you can build it there, which is fine. But if I'm in the middle, but if I'm in the middle of like Diamond City, like in the middle of Boston, running around, killing fools, and I pick up a new gun, and I'm like, oh, I want to go look at that gun. I have to go scroll through 100 other pipe rifles that are almost the same, but have a couple of different parts, so they're not exactly the same, so they don't stack, and so I have to try and find this one pipe rifle I just picked up.
See, and that's your problem. You're using a pipe rifle.
No. The biggest problem here is that Cody is admitting that he's picking up everything, and which, if you have no encumbrance limit, you have 10,000 that you can carry, then yeah, you can literally just go pick up anything. However, if you play the game without that cheat, you get to the point where you realize, I don't need to pick up this junk. I need to find specific junk.
But I pick up weapons. So what I do is I toss guns that I don't need. Like I also I have 10 of these pipe pistols. I'm going to get rid of 9 of them because I don't need 10 pipe pistols. I will just toss them aside. But there are parts from other pipe pistols that I want, so I keep them in my inventory until I can get back to town.
However,
to take care of them.
If you would have kept your inventory limit, you would actually have a reason to not have 10 pipe rifles.
I would so this goes back to how you play a Bethesda game. I play a Bethesda game. I pick up everything. It's just how I play Bethesda games.
Especially, and that's what they want you to pick up, all the junk in this game.
So I'm picking
every little piece of junk you can find can be made for something.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Where the hell does the game keep screenshots?
It's probably in your Steam library.
Yeah, it's probably a Steam thing.
Not using Steam.
I don't know then.
Yeah, probably somewhere in your My Documents folder.
Nope.
My Documents, My Games, something like that.
Nope.
Okay, we will go into the IT support for Zach here shortly.
So that's the game has a real hard balance problem of like, okay, so you want me to pick up all this shit so I can do crafting, because crafting is a big part of this game, like making the perfect gun or the perfect settlement or whatever. But you don't give me enough. You don't give me a good way to organize all that crap. You don't give me a good way to like. I can't wait for the mod tools to come out because someone will have a better inventory management system, and then it'll be better. Like Skyrim was the same way on PC. Like Skyrim's inventory management was terrible, and then someone released a better inventory screen. You're like, this is good. Like I can see this. Like I understand. Like I like the Pip-Boy. The Pip-Boy is a cool aesthetic, and it's really great. But I would like to actually to see what the armor about to equip looks like, not just a picture of the little dude with like some stats on it. I have some problems.
So the biggest thing that I always had against that, so like Oblivion did that, for instance, where you could, see things as you equipped it, and that it always looked terrible in that screen, and then like you actually go to your normal character view, you scroll out a bit, and you zoom around your character, and it's like, oh, that actually looks decent. But like in Skyrim, you didn't get to see shit. You just got to see, oh, this is this item folded up. Okay.
Well, so that's the same
in
thing.
Fallout, if you want to see that thing, you just, okay, what does this armor look like? X. This is what that looks like.
Yeah, but once again, that when they added the mod, when somebody made the better inventory mod for Skyrim, it just showed it off to the left, and I didn't have to hit a button to hit inspect.
They're also to look at it because like almost all the armor is like folded in some way, like item. So you didn't get to see what the hell it looked like, anyways.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah. It's just one of those things. Like weapons is one of those things I want to look at and be like, okay, crafting seems like a weird thing in this game because crafting feels very much like somebody made a mod for this game that was crafting and people liked it, so let's just put crafting in this one.
Well, crafting actually works strangely well. Like it's very, very simple, which is gather items, put together. Like there's nothing that goes into it as far as real in-depth thought of, oh man, we can make a really innovative crafting system. It's just as is. Go collect your items around the wasteland and bring them back and make something out of them.
Yeah, these games have always had some level of crafting. They're just taking it to the next step. essentially.
So the problem I have with like weapon crafting is that it's not intuitive. One, and two, if I pick up, so I'm a big fan of the starting pistol. I really like that gun. I think it's a good gun. I wish there was more ammo for it wherever I was going. That'd be great.
The 10 millimeter pistol.
Yeah, I like the 10 millimeter pistol, and so every time I pick, and that's part of the reason why I've been hoarding weapons is that I'll pick up other 10 millimeter pistols in the world that have mods that I want that I can't make yet. So I keep it in my inventory, so when I get back to a place, I can take the mods off. But the problem I have with it is, like, to take a mod off of a gun, I have to replace it with a different part. Like, why can't I just salvage it and get the extra parts?
That is one thing that is slight annoyance to me. It's like, okay, this gun has a silencer. Normally, I should just pull that off. And this gun here has a comfort grip. Okay, I just want to pull the grip off this thing. Yeah, that's one limitation of the crafting system. But overall, I mean, armor does it right so far, where you literally just put it the standard, and that removes it without costing you anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guns could learn from that, I guess. They need a standard that doesn't cost you anything to go back to.
Yeah, like I have a bunch of the like original parts now because of
See,
like stripping stuff off, but
I have a problem, and my problem is what I just sent a link to in the chat.
Well, for our audio listeners, what is this?
you made Wesker.
Yeah, and pretty damn accurate too.
I don't even know.
You made a 1-to-1 of Wesker in Fallout 4 character creation.
So there's a mod I kind of want to.
Yes, and also, but because Cody brought this up with the cheats.
Is that Helena Bottom Carter?
What?
Look, your third photo, it looks like Helena Bottom Carter, for fuck's sake.
1, 2. Okay, the lady isn't that?
Where?
Isn't that?
Yeah, okay, so there's a lady in here, and she's wearing kind of this black gown with floofy things on her hair. I swear to God, first, I have two theories. Either she is Helena Bottom Carter, or she is Christina Ricci. I do not know.
Oh, the female that's with me in the fourth
Piper.
picture? Piper?
That's yeah. It's Piper. I just met her today.
Yeah, so but when Cody was mentioning the cheats thing, that was the only thing I really did as far as cheats or mods is I'm trying to do we care about spoilers?
I don't personally because that's just the way I am. But let's try and keep it as spoiler free as possible.
Well, okay, so the cheat I did is because I was browsing Fallout Nexus just to kind of see what kind of redesigns and maybe quality of life, script improvement type mod things that they had. And the jacket or the outfit that I'm wearing is from an NPC, Maxon or Elder Maxon, who I don't know who has met him.
I have met him.
I don't know what factions did you all join?
I just started the Brotherhood of Steel stuff. I haven't actually joined any factions though.
I'm currently in Brotherhood and
Minutemen and Railroad.
Okay, so I'm Brotherhood of Steel. I'm surprised you don't know who Elder Maxon is.
I literally just met Paladin Dan's yesterday.
I know who Elder Maxon is. Please continue.
Okay. That's his outfit, but someone did a retexture of it in all black, and I was like, that is probably the closest thing to Wesker's gear that I'm going to possibly get. So
I'm just wondering why that scarf is so thick, or is that part of the armor?
the scarf he's wearing,
Is that a scarf or is that like armor? I don't know.
It's like fur.
It's like a big furred collar on the jacket.
Yeah. Anyways,
But yeah, so that's really that, and I occasionally, when I'm really bored, will turn on God mode and just start rapid firing fat mans into the air just to see where they land. It's really fun when you just like shoot them almost completely vertical and you hear it land like 10 seconds later and you hear the little experience chime pop up because you hit something.
so people like it when I rant, so I'm going to rant here for a minute. Uh, I this is the best Fallout game I've played, bar none. I still have problems with the fact that everywhere is brown and gray. But that's the Wasteland. I understand that that's an aesthetic thing. The shooting is much better. It feels a lot better. The crafting feels kind of half baked, and I'll be interested to see. To be fair, most of these games begin to thrive once the modding community gets a hold of them and make improvements upon systems. Skyrim, you could definitely tell that interface is designed for a console. Same thing kind of here. It feels like if I was using a controller, it might feel a little bit better. I don't know. I haven't tried yet. That's another gripe of mine. If you have your controller plugged in like I usually do because of the Xbox streaming capability, when I load up Fallout 4, it just automatically says I want to use a controller. And I have to unplug my controller for my mouse and keyboard to work. It's kind of dumb. Crafting, we've already talked about. I wish it was a little more intuitive. I kind of wish I didn't have to like. I wish like if I was going to salvage, I would say, "Hey, there are extra things on this. Do you want to take the comfort grid off and give me like a little less salvage for that? I don't care, like whatever. Maybe if you like to mod off, you only get 1 steel back from the gun. Give me the parts. That's all I want." But like the town crafting, I think that part is jank.
The settlement building.
Yeah, settlement building is jank in such a way that I don't want to do it. Like
It's fun, jank.
Well, but so like I was in Sanctuary.
What's your complaint with that?
So I'm in Sanctuary, right? There are all these pre-made houses that are all set to go. And so I was like, oh, here's one. It doesn't have a door. I'm going to put a door on the front of this house because I was going to like make a house a house. I was going to put some beds in there, some furniture. I was going to make this house look like a house, like it would pre-explosions. But you can't put a door on a house because you didn't build the house. Like things like that's like that. Why can't I put this here?
Don't put a door where doors aren't wanted. Simple as that.
I'm putting a door in the doorway of a house that was already existing.
Free your mind from these binds that you've put upon it. Build your own house, Cody. Don't use someone else's house. Build your own house.
Be a man, Cody.
But it's already
Build
there.
your house today.
So, speaking of that, my structure house thing is a little weird.
It's a hut.
Oh no, I dropped one of the metal shacks, like the big metal shacks, threw some stuff in it, and then pretty much used all of the rest of my resources building turrets around the entire perimeter of Sanctuary.
See, my biggest complaint about the settlements thus far is that so the idea is that you create defenses so that it wards off enemies, essentially, and you have to have like your defense amount higher than your food and water so that people don't come and attack. However, if you get your defense too high, nobody ever comes and attacks.
Yeah, my defense is like
there's supposed to be this thing where you're supposed to defend settlements, and in all the hours I've played Fallout so far, I've only had to defend one settlement, and that was because it had 0 defense, and so someone decided to attack it.
Well, the other part that ties into that was the what was it? Outside of the low amount of attacks, there's actually no real benefit for settlers. Like, you don't really get anything out of it. It's like, hey, here's a settlement. You now have people. Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, if you crank up your charisma and you get the local trader stuff, then you get benefits from that, and then you have people you can buy and sell things to, and you earn caps through that as well through having those trade routes going.
But that takes an excessive amount of time, and I honestly have not cured yet.
Yeah, like
I've just started that stuff.
Yeah, my defense on my on Sanctuary at least is like 500.
So
or something, but like I lost a settlement, or I missed a settlement defense because I didn't actually see the notification it was being attacked. Like I was in the middle of some mission, like down in the depths of some building somewhere, and I just see the notification like, you failed to defend blah blah blah. I was like, oh, thanks for the notification that it was even being attacked.
So this kind of, I listen to a lot of game design stuff, and the thing that a common thing I believe is that if you're putting a system in the game, there has to be a reason for you want, like, that means that's something they want you to focus on and do, right? That's how things work. Like Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition added a whole bunch of stuff to make role playing something you want to do in the game. It rewards you for role playing. I have yet to hit the hook on settlement building that rewards me for building my settlement, and that, like, it feels like they built a system but didn't put a whole lot of like
Meat.
into it. Like, I know they don't want to make it a requirement because that's how Bethesda games work, is that you don't want to make requirements for stuff because people maybe just don't want to do it.
Yeah,
But
there's no requirement for anything in this game.
yeah, but there almost should be some, like, for the people who want to, like, that's going to scratch an itch for people who like doing that type of game, like who like building settlements. But there are better games that do that.
Yeah. So in the previous Fallouts, like this is something that I wanted to show up in the original Fallout, for instance. So in Fallout 3, it's like you come across a settlement and okay, you do a couple of quests to help protect them or something, but then it's like, well, I want to be able to help, like, put up walls or put up towers or assign people to defend things or create a turret over here or any number of, like, settlement improving things, so that I don't feel like I'm alone on this. There's a lot of people who wanted to do that. That's why things like this were modded in, that you could create settlements and you can have your own bases and things in Fallout 3 and in New Vegas. So they actually added it in with Fallout 4, but they know not everybody wants to sit there and spend hours building a base. So they're like, okay, you can do this, and you just follow the Minutemen path, and you can do settlement stuff. And then they throw it in here and there on other storylines, like, okay, you have to go build a small settlement here. Just throw up some defenses and assign people to do stuff, and that's it. That's all you have to do.
I couldn't even figure out how to assign people to do stuff, so they just all
It's kind of like clicking and dragging.
Yeah, you walk up to when you're in the settlement mode, you walk up to a person, you hit E, and then you walk over to what you want to assign them to and hit E.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so speaking of, like, settlements and storylines and things of that nature, the one thing I really think was a missed opportunity that they really could have done, and granted, it probably wouldn't be relevant to me because I have no idea where my Fallout 3 and New Vegas saves are, but I think they really, really missed an opportunity to do kind of what BioWare did with Mass Effect in the persistent world save importing type thing, because
continuing storylines.
Well, Fallout 4 takes place, what was it, 5 years after New Vegas? I think I read it was 5 years after New Vegas.
I have no idea.
Okay, so it was somewhere I read it.
It's not supposed to matter, really.
Well, and see, here's the thing that it should matter. And you're not Brotherhood of Steel, so you may not know this, but there is a random event where, like, the Brotherhood of Steel aircraft carrier, or not even aircraft carrier, fucking airship, just starts kind of rolling across the Commonwealth on its way to its docking area.
No big deal, ship.
Yeah, that thing is pretty cool.
But
I've seen it.
The thing is, they came there, they mentioned in kind of like subtext that they came there from the West, from NCR. And also, one of the other side storylines that I will not spoil, there's a lot of references to the NCR as well. Now,
yeah, there's lots of references in the game to the other wastelands. Like, there's several things where the capital wasteland, sorry.
But I just think it would be cool for something like, because I can't remember exactly because it's been a while since I played New Vegas, but I'm pretty sure so every game that I've been able to join, I've joined the Brotherhood of Steel. That's just my thing. And if I recall correctly, in New Vegas, you can mutiny and take over the Brotherhood of Steel or something like that. But it would just be kind of like a cool thing where a previous save had little, not anything major storyline changing, but it would be cool to see like my character from the previous game, who was a super high ranking, if not the leader of the Brotherhood of Steel, be
I
on the
get where you're going
airship
with
as
that.
an NPC.
Those things would be cool. However, if they were going to do, there have been games in the past that have done the little touches like that, and it always infuriates the fan base more, I would say, because Mass Effect did it right when they did it. It was the 3 games were a solid storyline essentially, and your saves carried through, and that could affect the whole storyline. However, games where they just did little touches like, oh, that's cool, that's my character over there, but you're like Dragon Age kind of did that, where I was like, oh yeah, that's my character, but it doesn't matter what they did in the storyline. So why does it matter at all that they even brought him in? That's
Also listening to like the Mass Effect guys talk about it, like that was a big it's a hard thing for them to actually do, to bring all that stuff over, and it's a lot of stuff. I don't know if Bethesda has the like Bethesda's a great studio, they make great games, but I don't know if they have. We talked about the jank last week. Like, if that had made it in and the jank had not, I would have been a little upset that, like, oh, this is a cool feature, but the game's still kind of jank in a way that maybe they should have taken the time to fix the jank and not the.
You also got to think, like, the giant, the breadth of these games. I mean, how are you supposed to import anything from a previous game into these games? This is why they try to separate them so much, so that there's only very little overlap, that there's only mentions of events that happened previous games.
But see,
because
that's kind of
carrying
why
the storyline through, it kind of detracts a bit.
That's why I'm not
one
saying
continuous thing.
Full storyline stuff. I still think Easter egg type stuff would be cool because it would have no overarching effect on the game, and it would. I mean, modders and stuff are already modding custom companions in, so it can't be that hard to just reference a line of text in a previous save. That was
what examples
was a member of a Brotherhood of Steel.
Like, what examples are you working on? Because, like, outside of saying the character that you built in the last game is now the leader of the Brotherhood of Steel, like that actually is a pretty overarching piece of storyline.
I wasn't saying no. That's what I was saying. I wasn't saying he would be the leader. Like, put him as just a random NPC or a knight or paladin on the ship. Just someone you can talk to, just like a little Easter egg type thing.
The other part about that is, like, we've discussed before, I haven't played Fallout 3 or New Vegas because I've started playing them and didn't like them, but if I'm relating this to Skyrim, like, you can totally go and be the leader of every single extra thing in that game. Like, we've talked about on the podcast before, like, I have a weird issue with that, like, I am the Dova King, I am this, like, dragon fighting guy, I'm also the head of the Fighters Guild and the Wizards Guild and the Dark Brotherhood and all this other stuff, and like,
yeah, and even in those games, it doesn't, like, when you're the head of the Dark Brotherhood, the head of the Mages Guild, head of the Fighters Guild, like, none of that mingles in the game at all.
Yeah,
like, you go to those specific factions, and it's like, oh, hey, leader, you're here, and then you can go to any other faction, and they don't know who you are, they don't care. I mean,
but for these type of games, I don't really think their goal is to try and tie everything in. It's just, here's a bunch of stuff you can do. You have choices. If you want to do all of it, all the more power to you. But I don't think story is, like, they did put a little bit more emphasis on story for Fallout 4, but story still doesn't seem that important. It's just kind of about the experience of exploring, finding quirky things. And that's what I see in Fallout.
For me, I see it a little bit differently. I see it as an immersion thing. Like, it is more likely to draw me into the game if, like, I actually have a connection. If there's some sort of, like, I like that kind of depth in storylines. I like the little bits of carrying over or Easter eggs, like, what happened to my character at the end of New Vegas? Did he just, like, fall over and die the next day? Like, you know what I mean? I wish there was more to it.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be my, if you were going to do that, I'd like to see more interaction. Like, we'll go back to Skyrim because all of us have completed Skyrim with hundreds of hours into Skyrim. Like if we're gonna do that, I'd like to see even more interaction in the game itself. Like if I'm the leader of the Fighters Guild in Skyrim, I would like to watch the Brotherhood of the Dark Brotherhood and have them be like, "Oh, you're the like, hi." Like they should know who I am. Like the great thing about their games is also kind of the downfall is that you can be and do whatever you want in those games. And this goes back to this also is the jank factor, but because you can be and do whatever you want in those games, they can't possibly program for every single one of those outcomes. Like they can't program for you being, oh, I am the head of the Dark Brotherhood and I'm the head of this. And like they could have flags in the back end, I'm sure, that say this guy completed all these quests, he's the head of the Dark Brotherhood. But then
they did that for the whole fuck, I can't remember what the name of the expansion was. The one with the vampires and the vampire hunters.
Yeah, but the story was crafted around that because you either got to be a vampire or you got to be
And see, those are the choices that I like more. So like Morrowind kind of did that. You could eventually be everything, but there was gates to everything as well. Whereas I feel like in Oblivion, or yeah, even Oblivion and Skyrim, I could be this giant, brutish fucking barbarian with no casting ability whatsoever, and I could still become the freaking leader of the Mages Guild. I was like, wow, do you guys even care if I cast magic at all? I just get your quest done, and boom, I'm freaking the head of the guild. Whereas in Morrowind, there's actually like, well, okay, you got the quest done, but can you actually cast a spell? It's like you have to have this level of ability before you actually be able to rank up.
I'm gonna spill over into a Dark Souls chat real quick. I like how Dark Souls does it. So if you play Dark Souls with a character who doesn't have a high enough
Hold on. I want to interrupt you real quick because we need to think of a name for this. Because we do it enough. It's like Godwin's Law. We need to have like a term for it.
We're going to the bonfire.
Are we invoking like Gwen's Law?
Yeah, Gwen's Law, sure.
All right, bonfire side chat. Let's go.
Bonfire side chat. If you don't have enough in that game, none of the wizards will teach you anything. If you walk up to any of the guys in there, they're like, "Oh, it's such a pity that you aren't gifted with these powers," and they won't talk to you until you raise your int. Like that's.
Yeah, one guy even calls you too stupid.
Yeah, like that happens in Dark Souls 2. He's like, "Yeah, you're dumb."
Yeah,
not teaching you anything. And same thing with faith. If you don't have enough faith in that game, nobody will teach you miracles. Like that's.
And all the pyromancers are just fucking anarchists, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, well, you don't need much for pyromancy.
You don't need anything for pyromancy.
You just need to have a soul for flame. Pyromancy. Like it'd be great if they could somehow take your stats into account. Like they've got the special system. Like you can very easily be like, they can easily say, oh, you don't have enough lockpick skill. Why can't they just easily say, oh, you don't have a high enough intelligence to be able to do this? Oh, they just lock you out of perks. And maybe they should lock you out of other like story things, saying, oh, I'm sorry, you can't help join the Institute because you're dummy. You're big.
Speaking of,
and if they actually did start doing that, that would actually kind of take away from that whole open world thing, because that's like the fundamental point of their games is they don't want to lock you out of anything. You don't want to have to be limited by it. Like I understand it's part of an immersion thing, but I know that's not the intention that they're trying to.
So in Fallout, it's a little more difficult because it's okay. You join a faction, and it's not a mages guild. It's not casting magic and stuff. However, if they could do like an assassin's guild or something. Notice things like that, and otherwise you can't advance. That's fine. That'd be cool. That'd be a cool addition to Fallout. However, like every single faction you join, it's just story differences. All it really is. They don't care how you go about things.
And see, that's the one thing I think would be fine if they did the kind of, because like you can lock people out of story related stuff because they've done that in some of the Fallout games. I remember there was stuff in New Vegas where if you were a member of, if you were a member of the Brotherhood of Steel, you couldn't join this other faction, or they would like shoot on sight because they recognized you as a member of the Brotherhood of Steel. And
yeah, well, it's also only when you get to a certain point of those as well. So, for instance, Brotherhood of Steel, for instance, you could join and you could just be in the beginning of it, but the other factions didn't care. But as soon as you got higher up, then they kind of noticed. So in Fallout 4, you can join all 4 factions. You can be part of all of them all at once. However, eventually you'll get to a point where you have to, if you follow this quest line long enough, you'll have to betray the other faction, essentially.
yeah, and I'm fine with that. I just kind of wish it would happen maybe a little earlier.
So there's
because when you're honestly, yes, I agree. Is because ultimately, if you're in this faction for even a short amount of time, you're going to be doing things against another faction, and they should take notice of that. Like, wait a minute, you were just like blowing up our base over here. What the fuck, man?
Now here's my question, and I would prefer to keep it spoiler limited, but am I correct in thinking that you can join the Institute?
Yes, the
Yeah,
Institute is one of the 4 factions you can join.
So, and that there goes my other thought is that but they seem like the overarching bad dudes. Like the whole storyline is going against destroying them.
I think it's one of those things of like
It's going towards destroying them. Rather.
It's another one of those, like, we're seeing a lot of these games come out now where it's telling the story of what does it mean to be human, like, do cyborgs have rights? That, to me, that's where it seems like this story is going. It's another one of those kind of stories, but I haven't gotten far enough to go with it.
Yeah, so there's, the Minutemen don't seem to care either way. The Railroad is completely anti-Institute, but they like the synths. They're trying to save the synths because they see them as just people that are made of machines, essentially. The Brotherhood of Steel is anti-abuse of technology, so they also hate the synths. And then the Institute seems to be, we're just trying to take advantage of any and all possible technology to better everybody. But we also see technology as something to be controlled and harnessed, so they subjugate the synths, essentially.
I'm just going to chime in real quick and just say I really wish there was a Valentine's Detective Agency Guild. That would have been way better.
I'm not gonna lie.
Everyone gets a trench coat and a fedora.
Just that entire companion is a.
I would be down with that.
Super joy.
One of my favorite side missions in Assassin's Creed Unity was to do like the mission, like solve the murders, and I would happily do that in a Fallout. Just walk around town in my trench coat and fedora.
Well, it's stupid, and it takes you out of the realm of everything is bad in the Wasteland, and good lord, everything is bad. But it still ties into the storyline, but keeping it spoiler free, of course. It's still it's a nice little diversion. I like that. It's just fun. It's stupid, but I wish you could expand that out. Just have your own detective agency, so you could just do a whole bunch of it. So it's like, who took the paint can? Just stupid things like that. I can imagine being a whole lot of fun.
There's a handprint here.
There's a lot of things in that game. So let's wrap up this Fallout 4 conversation. We're gonna try out some new stuff today. As we kind of wrap up this conversation, my brain wants to work. It does. I swear to God, it does. I think it's a great game. I think it's the best Fallout game that I have ever played. I can't remember the last time I played the original Fallouts, so they may be better. I just don't remember.
They are pretty good.
I was actually thinking about going back and replaying those old school CRPGs. I think it's a great game. So this is going to go into the rest of the topic for the conversations. We don't do reviews here on Sharks and Things for reasons, and we're going to go into those here in a minute. But if we had to say, we're not going to score things, but I would say this is a buy game. I would go buy it. Maybe wait for a sale if you're kind of not sure about Bethesda games.
Yeah,
I already bought it on launch. Definitely buy.
I have the game.
Beef.
Zach, would you recommend somebody buy this game if they like Bethesda games?
I mean, I'm enjoying it so far.
Okay.
So yes.
Mitch, I think I already know your answer, but what's your answer?
This is the best Fallout of the Bethesda Fallouts. This is actually one of the best Bethesda games thus far, I'd say. At least in this modern take of Bethesda since Morrowind, I'd say.
I would say buy it with a caveat. My caveat would be maybe wait to see what the mod scene looks like.
The mod scene's going to be amazing. It always is.
It's a pretty good game. I mean, if you like Bethesda games, you know, and if you like Wasteland games, then this is probably one of the good ones. If you're not looking for something tactics based.
Yeah. The
Also, mods are coming to your consoles, so even if you have it for console.
Go
That's
me.
exciting.
yeah.
Can't believe you
So
bought a console.
before we go into the next big thing, I figured I would bring up something.
Yeah.
We kind of diverted off to the Dark Soulsy stuff.
Yeah, bring us back around. Bonfire chat, let's go.
Bloodborne was patched 2 days ago.
Yeah.
The pre-patch for the expansion that comes out Tuesday.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The Old Hunters. So far, many awesome things have been found, and I imagine once the expansion itself actually drops Tuesday, it will be glorious.
Enlighten us. What has been found?
Well, they added the... God, why can I not remember their names now? The League. They added the League on the last patch.
The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Pretty much, yeah.
The League of Legends?
It's...
Is there a MOBA in Dark Souls?
No.
I would play that MOBA.
I would not play that MOBA. You've seen me when I go into MOBA Mat.
It's run by a guy in a constable outfit with a bucket helm.
My son, bro.
But
Possibly.
it added a whole bunch of extra NPC hunters that you can fight. A lot of them with like special names. There are new weapons and such coming, like a Gatling gun, which just sounds amazing.
Does he praise the blood moon?
I don't know what he praises, but he has a pretty awesome cane and stands there with his cane, at his side, looking real dapper.
Yeah. So we're gonna take an aside. We're gonna come back to the bonfire chat, but I want to talk about reviews for a hot minute here.
Go for it.
Okay.
It's all
Hot
you.
minute, go.
Hot minute. This is gonna be another short rant. We don't do reviews, instruction things for very specific reasons. We've been trying to get feedback from you guys that are listening and watching this, and we got some feedback that people want us to do reviews because that's kind of the industry standard thing. I don't like reviews because I don't like assigning an objective number to a game. Right. That's why we have these conversations at the beginning of the podcast every week about what have we been playing, how have you liked it? Do we have these interesting conversations like me ranting about how the crafting in Fallout 4 is? I wish it was better and all that stuff. That gives you as a person watching this or listening to this podcast, you have a better understanding of what we're talking about. It's why like Let's Plays and quick looks have become more popular because it's much easier to make a formulated opinion when you can see or hear about mechanics in the game. Which is also why we'll never do reviews. We'll never assign a score to a game. I think the four of us can agree that's not anything we ever want to do on this podcast.
Yeah, and kind of I figure us talking about the games that we're playing is kind of a glorified review of it.
Well, if you just take the word review, it's summing up or going over. We are reviewing them, but we're just not saying, here, this is an arbitrary value of, this seems like a number 10. Why not? That's my personal view. I'm not a huge score person. I don't really go by scores because we all know they're all bullshit across the industry anyways.
Yeah. There's connotations come with reviews and stuff like that. There's always that talk about how maybe reviewers are still being bought off, and I don't even know how that's even possible in this day and age.
It's pretty easy. It's here. I'm going to give you $100,000. You need to say that this is the best game ever.
Or, make it even simpler, like, oh, hey, you work for, this insert game journalist game news website. We happen to be having this awesome party after the show, you're more than welcome to come. There'll be free drinks, and you can preview the game and stuff. Wink, wink.
Yeah, I mean, so those are things you'll never see us do here in Strike Things. We're going to have a side chat about this at some point. How we want to maybe have a buy it or like it or wait for it kind of system. But we'll never give you a score, and we'll never give you a review, an actual truly review. If you want to know like some first impressions, I do first impressions on my channel on Wednesdays, and I'll probably do first impressions of Fallout 4 on this upcoming Wednesday. You can come tune in for that. My link is down below. Click on it, the Spider-Man.
Spitterman.
You just say that very solemnly. Click on the Spider-Man.
Click on the Spider-Man.
Please.
Wasn't say click on the Cug Guy Odin or click on Cody. One of those down there. I mean, all our channels down below if you want to hit the like or whatever. On the Twitch chat. So that's my little spiel, my little rant on reviews. That's going to be the end of it. We'll talk about how we want to handle them going forward, but some people have requested we do reviews, and that's just kind of how we're not going to do reviews. We'll maybe give you a should you buy it type thing, but that'll be an internal conversation at some point in time. Let's swing back around to bonfire news.
Okay.
Bonfire for the side chat.
Bonfire.
So Hideo Kojima, not Kojima. Wow, no. Kojima may or may not be still working at Konami. There's your news about Kojima. I don't know.
It's just
he's on an extended vacation.
Yeah, he's on extended vacation. I want to cover
everyone else got basically fired, and he's on vacation.
I want to, before we continue on, Hankster's asked a question in the chat, and I want to address it real quick. He asks, if we're not going to review the game as a whole, are we going to talk about graphics, animations, realistics, fakes, and stuff like that? I think that's something we cover I think we tend to cover in our conversations. I think we tend to cover, hey, this is a good-looking game. Fallout 4 is I now have a 970, upgraded my graphics card. That game looks really good. The aesthetic of that game, with it being a wasteland, that's the part I think falls. Like, that game would be even more gorgeous if it had some more color in it. Like, pre-bombs dropping in that game, it looks gorgeous. Post-bombs dropping in that game, it looks like a wasteland, and that's kind of a shame. But yes, to answer your question, Hankster,
it's a shame. It looks like what it's supposed to try to do.
Yeah, I would highly recommend checking out last week's podcast and give that a listen, because we kind of went over graphics, janky, glitchy things, frame rates, things like that. I would recommend checking that out.
Yeah, like we'll cover that type of stuff. I have no problem doing that. We just won't give a score. I don't like that puts a connotation on something. This is all opinion based.
I think the best description of what we do is indirect reviews, in the sense that we kind of just describe our experiences, the things we liked, didn't like. Just, we don't follow like a specific review format where it's like, okay, we need to make sure to cover A, B, C through R, and we need to make sure to talk X amount of time on these different topics.
Apparently, I've been playing games wrong with a clipboard.
Yes, you have been. So that'll wrap up this conversation. I mean, we might go into a bigger conversation about reviews, meaning the industry, at some point in time. I ranted a couple weeks ago on my personal stream about how I want us to cover more deep conversations. I have to figure out a way to do that yet. But
it's always deep.
Thanks for the question, Hankster, and that's a good question to ask. Going back, Miyazaki-san, not Kojima-san, got the names back now. Did an interview last week about Dark Souls 3, and confirming that it will be the last Dark Souls game. Now, does that mean that'll be the last Souls-like game? Who knows? But he said
probably not.
It will.
Demon Souls 2.
It'll wrap. That will never happen.
I will tell you that also that article had a name dropped.
Oh, are you talking about the one where the guy's like, I want you to make hang on, what name was the drop? I can't remember.
Legacy of Kain.
Yeah.
Soul Reaver.
No, the interviewer was like, if you could have unlimited budget in any team, what game would you work on? And Miyazaki was like, I don't know. And he's like, please make Soul Reaver. Please make Legacy of Kain. That's what the interview was like, and then Miyazaki laughed. Like, that's kind of Miyazaki. But yeah, he said that essentially this will be the last Dark Souls game, and that probably won't be the end of the Souls series. He even said in the interview that, hey, games like Souls and Lords of, what's the Souls-like game?
Fallen.
Lords of the Fallen.
Yeah.
and even like Titan Souls. Like there's been a rash of these games that are meaty melee combat games that are very hard and test your skills as a player. And he's like, that just shows that people were wanting that type of game, and he doesn't think that genre is going to be going anywhere. Just no one does it as good as them, in my honest opinion.
Yes.
I'm with you on that.
So I'll be super excited when Dark Souls 3 come out. Maybe we'll finish Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 2 is a great game. I just had a hard time like wanting to play it like I did Dark Souls 1. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, I think it's still the same familiarity thing for me, because like Dark Souls 1, I ran through it. I remember my first playthrough took like 60 some hours, and then I played through it, 3-4 more times, and I know that game like the back of my hand. Dark Souls 2, I'm like, I don't have that time anymore. It's such a huge time investment to try and like become familiar, do everything like to a T, explore everywhere. It's just a huge time suck. Not that Fallout is not a time suck by comparison, but like Dark Souls,
it's a huge time suck.
Like Dark Souls is like an emotional time suck, because it pulls every bit of your willing, your skill, how happy you are that day into the account. So when you go into a boss battle, how much longer after you die in that boss battle will you keep playing? It is entirely mood based.
Yeah. So I mean that's your Dark Souls 3 catch up. I'm very, very interested to see what Dark Souls 3 ends up being. That game looks like it should be very good, and hopefully it's a good closure on that game. And maybe we'll see a Bloodborne 2. Maybe we'll see another. We've had the conversation that Bloodborne is the best Castlevania of the past 10 years. So
it is a very good Castlevania game. I really wanted more acrobatic whipping, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean that's where I sit with the Bloodborne conversation. We didn't get a chance to talk about this last week because we got just on a full-on hour rant about Fallout 4 last week. But Nintendo Direct was last week, and I think there's some stuff in there that pertains to our fighting game gurus here and our Final Fantasy VII aficionado, and some other dumb stuff in that conference thing. Where do you guys want to start? You want to start with some Smash, or do you want to start with some Tekken jank?
Zach, I'm calling on you for this one, buddy.
I fucking hate Tekken.
I like Tekken.
I don't like 3D fighters at all.
I actually played Tekken for a while. I got really into 5 and 6. Before that, it was Tekken 3. Tekken 6 was a lot of fun, but the bound system was ridiculous. But anyways, getting sidetracked.
Pokken Tournament.
Woo! That's it.
Yeah, is that how we feel about that game?
That's how I feel about that.
Fighting game guys. Apparently, Zach doesn't like Tekken games, so he's probably not going to play Pokken.
So Pokken Tournament actually looks like it could be fun.
It looks like one of those games that you pick up as a fighter and be like, "Oh, I don't like fighting games, but this looks real dumb in a way that I like." So,
see, I just really wanted them to expand Tekken Ball from Tekken 3. Tekken Ball was the best, and because Tekken Ball it was 2v2. Actually, no, it could be 1v1. And it's just two fighters sitting on either side of a volleyball net that just sit in the middle of the screen. And it's just a beach ball that goes back and forth, and you have to smash the ball.
I'd kind of forgotten about that mode, to be honest.
And it's an unbelievable amount of fun. There's been a couple of tournaments that have run Tekken Ball tournaments on the side, and those end up being the most hyped, because it's stupid and silly, but it's entirely awesome.
It's weird. The Pokken tournament thing looks interesting, except for the fact that Matt's the only one with the Wii U, so I'm gonna have to go like sneak into his house and play that game when it comes out.
Yeah, we're IRL friends, by the way. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, we're IRL. It's good. It makes me
Oh my god.
No.
You're
just gonna like
wait. You're my Earl friend.
Just drop this conversation now. Burn it to the ground.
hang up.
Okay, so where do you guys sit on the Smash Brothers front?
No shits are given. Zach?
I really could care less about Smash.
Okay, Final Fantasy VII guy. How do you feel about College Strife coming into to Smash?
I really had no words, to be honest, because it wasn't just from left field. It was from like the ballpark, like right field of the ballpark 2 cities over. Like
That's impressive, 'cause that man went around the world to get into left field.
Diddy
Or
Kong and
maybe it's
Cloud.
slipped
Why
around.
not?
I don't know. That seems real weird to me. Like,
I
there's
mean,
he hits a limit break in that trailer. Like, they put the little title card above it says this is limit break.
like I think it has. I think it has the potential to be a really cool thing. However,
That would require you to play Smash.
yeah, and now let's to be completely honest. Like I do on occasion play Smash with some friends. Like I don't own it or anything like that, but it's kind of like if I'm there and they want to play Smash, like I've got no problem playing it. It's fun. I'm kind of in that camp that a lot of people hate, is that I don't really consider Smash a fighting game. I treat it more like a party game.
Because it is a party game.
Yeah. There's a big, huge debate about that, which I would rather not go into. But what it really boils down to is I see Smash as something that's fun when there's a bunch of us sitting around and my friend has like a level 50 Mario amiibo that he'll put in that just fucking destroys all of us anyway. And it becomes a game of 7 people or whatever versus an amiibo.
So I will not dismiss that there is a lot of technique that can go into Smash. Like when watching some Smash videos, I'm like, how is it even possible? Like, how do you even have the dexterity to do that? I have a hard enough time trying to pull off like a 2-hit combo in other games. But yeah, no, like I agree. I've never been a gigantic fan of Smash. I just kind of whatever. The rest of that, the rest of that Nintendo Direct was kind of filled with filler stuff. There was a lot of stuff for 2016. Star Fox got pushed off next year. Twilight Princess is getting an HD remake.
That's actually probably the biggest. That's actually probably the biggest news of the entire Nintendo Direct. Was
I'm
Twilight
actually
Princess.
excited about that. Twilight
Yeah,
Princess being one of my favorite Zelda games.
See, I'm even still trying to bring myself again. It's already like it's really hard to try and go and play the Wii U with everything else in my life. But I'm still trying to even crank through Wind Waker. Like it's the HD remake is fantastic of that, but I just don't have the same motivation for Nintendo games like I used to. I don't know if it's the achievement points or what.
That's where I've been sitting with Zelda for a while. Like I played Ocarina of Time might be the last Zelda game I finished.
You missed out on a lot of Zelda games then.
There's something like 37 Zelda games or some ridiculous number like that.
I don't know. Well, I played Twilight Princess. I didn't mind Twilight Princess. I don't know.
Twilight Princess was one of my favorites.
So it's no secret that I listened to the Giant Bombcast, and they talked about it this week on the Bombcast, and I kind of agree with Jeff on the aspect that by the time Twilight Princess came out, I was kind of like, well, this is just another Zelda game. It's a darker Zelda game. Whatever. I get to be a wolf, but it felt like another Zelda game.
Yeah, because it turns out it was Zelda.
Yeah,
so
they're all just another Zelda game.
Yeah. Sorry to ruin the fun for you. I know.
So there's a real interesting thing. I don't usually. I'm on the fence about Ego Raptor.
I am as well.
However,
Please clarify for anyone who is not familiar.
He's one of the Game Grumps. He's the guy who did the sequelitis about Mega Man.
yes, he also did another sequelitis about this specific topic, A Link to the Past, going into Ocarina of Time. And I actually watched and listened to it yesterday. By the way, if no one has watched the Mega Man to Mega Man X sequelitis thing, it is fucking phenomenal.
Mega Man. It's one of my favorite internet videos of all time, by the way.
Yeah. But to continue on with that thread, he did one on Ocarina of Time and A Link to the Past, and it was actually really, really good. I would recommend watching it because he makes a lot of good points about what you were just saying. It's like, oh, it's just another Zelda game, but apparently there were a lot of things about Ocarina of Time that I didn't really think about that he kind of brought into light, so to speak. It's a really good watch, really good.
You
So
should shoot us a link to
instantly-
that so we can post it in the description later.
Yeah, I'll put it in the show notes.
Yes.
The magical editor man will put it in the show notes, I'm sure.
Magical Man.
To me, Zelda's to the point of Final Fantasy where there's so many of them now that it's kind of like how do you keep playing them? Like this, so there's the new Zelda's coming out. They announced the new Zelda's coming out next year. It will have some type of amiibo support. Oh, speaking of amiibo support, it will support the new Link amiibo that is the Wolf Link, which is a pretty cool looking amiibo.
But the other thing you have to also just like picture in your head too is these are all Nintendo titles that you can only play on a Nintendo Wii U. And the amount of outreach that the Wii U has is pretty damn low.
I've said it before, and I will say it again: Nintendo should stop making consoles and just make games.
That would be very, very foreign to see like Mario for Xbox, but it would do really well.
Yeah, like
They could even have their own like custom like specific white case that has like the Xbox logo on it. That'd be cool.
At this rate, that's probably gonna be the only way that I'm gonna play a Nintendo game. Is if somebody buys Nintendo or Nintendo just says "fuck it," we'll just make games from now on. They'll pull Sega, but unfortunately, they have a big enough fan base where that won't happen.
Or the new NX actually is something that's usable.
Yeah.
Yeah, something that everyone wants to use for once.
If the NX turns out to be what they're talking about, turning out to be like the rumors say, where it's this device that is a portable and a console in the same vein, maybe I would pick that thing up.
Please don't let them use the term 2-in-1. Because if they use the term 2-in-1, that thing is doomed for failure upon launch. Think of any 2-in-1 laptop, 2-in-1 tablet, 2-in-1 phone. Like anytime you start putting 2-in-1 in front of a device, it makes it instantly undesirable and built less. And the build quality is even less.
Yeah. I don't know. Like that's a Nintendo minute for this week. That Twilight Princess thing is kind of interesting. I'm still not going to buy a Wii U.
Nope. Oh, that's right. I already have one. Sorry.
Yeah, you have fun with that.
That's okay. I'll be our Nintendo Direct reporter. I'll get on that ASAP.
That's fine. When that comes back out, I'll trust you to tell me how the port is, and that'll be good. I'm trying to remember. What time did we start the podcast this week?
11:20.
Oh, that's right, because it was 11:20. So we're about an hour.
11:20.
Yeah. We like to try and keep this podcast to an hour, so unless you guys have anything else, I'll do a wrap up here. Nope. Okay.
Saran wrap this shit.
So thank you for everyone who came out, hang out in the chat today while we did the podcast. Thank you for the questions that have come through. I've been trying to answer some of them in chat. Hope you come back next week. We do this every Sunday at around 11 o'clock Central Time, noon Eastern, 9 o'clock Pacific. Sorry for those in the Pacific. I totally didn't think about you guys getting up at 9 o'clock to watch this thing. Which brings me to the next point. You can totally watch this on our video, either here on Twitch in the video section, or you can hit us up on YouTube / Sharks and Things. All these go up there as well, along with some of our pre-game play sessions, and we'll be posting some of our regular content through the weeks. I need to get the StarCraft 2 first bite up on there as well for people to take a look at. If you want to follow us, if you want to see what's going on with Sharks every day, every week, we do have a Twitter, Facebook. It's all Sharks and Things. Hit us up on there. Give us a like. Give us a favorite. Do whatever you want. Consider hitting the follow button here on Twitch if you are watching live. I think it's going to wrap us up for the week. I don't think we have anything else. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can shoot us an email at contact@sharksandthings.com. We'll try and work those into the show if at all possible. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about, shoot it there and we'll maybe discuss it on the podcast one week. I think that's it. We'll have a bigger conversation about reviews. I want to have that conversation, like a big, long, and maybe that's not on this format. Maybe that's on one of my rants on a stream one night that I totally do because people like it when I do that. All the show notes and all the links we talked about today, including Zach's Wesker character, we'll put in the show notes on the video. If you want to listen to the audio version of this podcast, there's a couple ways you can do that. You can hit us up on sharksandthings.com. There's a podcast link there. Eventually, there might be written articles back again. Depends on if I can finish writing the article I'm working on. Or if you like, if you are a big fan of iTunes, you can totally follow us on iTunes as well. Get your RSS feeds that way. I think that's everything. I'm gonna go lose myself in the Wasteland for a little bit longer today.
I think I'm going to go play some musical tunes upon the Guitar Hero.
Yeah, have fun with that.
I am. I'm an expert, Mitch.
Before we close out, anybody streaming anything this week? I'm gonna do Fallout 4 on Wednesday. Mitch and I have started we're writing an RPG on Thursday nights.
And I was not invited.
No,
I hate you all.
that's fine.
As usual, I will be streaming random things at random intervals with no set schedule because fuck it.
That'll be it, I think. I'll see you this week on Wednesday, and Thursday I might do a stream on Monday or Tuesday. Probably Monday if I do something this week beyond those two. But thanks for hanging out. We'll see you guys next week.
Take care, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.